Hi, my name is Aline Villavicencio, and I'm a professor of natural language processing and the director of the Institute for Data Science and Artificial Intelligence at the University of Exeter. So my work on natural language processing is to design algorithms or computational models with the capacity of understanding and interacting in human language. So the project that I'm working on more recently is in developing large language models with the capacity for understanding figurative language. So models like, for example, Llama, Claude, GPT, they are very fluent in some languages, but we want them to be fluent in all over 7,000 languages that we have in the world. So we have a group of models that are trained sometimes in 100, sometimes for over 100 languages. But there are a whole world out there and languages that we would like the models to be fluent in. So the particular work that I'm going to talk about now is in relation to figurative language, idiomaticity, terminology, and this relates to very specific usages of words that are conventional in a particular group. So for example, if I say in English, kick the bucket, I may mean somebody punching a container, or I may mean that somebody died. And there are different ways of saying equivalent expressions in different languages. So in Portuguese, for example, I would say somebody beat the boots. For somebody died. And these figurative expressions are very difficult for models because they are less frequent. So large language models are used on huge quantities of texts. And for these particular expressions, because they appear everywhere, but individually they have low frequencies, they are very challenging for models. So the work that I'm doing is, first of all, investigating how well models are for different languages, inspecting their ability, so probing inside their representations for how well they represent a figurative meaning versus the literal meaning, and if they actually understand what we would expect them to understand in their representation. So part of this work is collecting human judgments about these expressions. So collecting human expressions, figurative expressions in different languages, and checking what kind of intuitions or what kind of judgments humans would produce for those expressions, and seeing if the models would have compatible judgments to those. So at the moment we are collecting both textual data and also images representing the literal or figurative meaning, and checking how humans differentiate these two. So this involves not only collecting data, for example, with native speakers of the language, asking them for judgments, but also collecting eye-tracking data, seeing what are the clues that somebody who is unfamiliar with that particular expression would use to help understanding. So we are very smart as humans in picking up an expression that we are not familiar with in a language that perhaps we are not native speakers. And we want to see if we can design models that can use some of these clues that we are using to help them understand. So why is this important? Because a lot of domain-specific terminology from clinical settings, from our own areas, from legal domain, they are very particular. They have a very particular usage to that domain. So for example, when I say that somebody has a particular type of cancer, like a glaucoma, I want the model to have a very accurate representation that a glaucoma is a type of cancer. Because if my doctor is deciding on a particular treatment using insights that the algorithm is going to provide for them, I want the algorithm to provide accurate information.